It was midnight at the royal castle. The moon was shining high in the sky and its silver light touched the quiet gardens below. Everyone in the castle was fast asleep. Only Cinderella was awake. She sat near her window, brushing her golden hair slowly. The night was calm, almost too calm. Then she heard a strange sound, ting ting ting. At first it was soft, like a tiny bell, but then it grew louder. Cinderella looked around, her eyes wide. The air in her room began to sparkle. Small blue lights swirled all around her, brighter and brighter, until the whole room seemed to glow. Cinderella whispered, "Who is there?" Her voice shook a little. And then whoosh! A glowing fairy appeared right in front of her. She wore midnight blue robes that shimmered like the night sky, and her wings sparkled like shining stars. The fairy spoke in a gentle but serious voice. "Princess Cinderella, I am the Midnight Fairy. I only appear when the moon is full, and tonight I need your help." Cinderella stood quickly. "My help? What is wrong?" she asked. The fairy lifted her hand and pointed to the dark horizon outside the window. "The midnight clock has been stolen. If the clock does not strike 12, time in the kingdom will stop. Everything will freeze forever. No tomorrow, no morning, only endless night." At that moment, a little squirrel rushed into the room, squeaking nervously. "Cinderella, if time freezes, we will never see the sun again. We will be trapped forever." The wise old owl flew down from the window ledge. He shook his feathers and said in a deep voice, "The thief who stole the clock is hiding in the shadow tower. We must hurry before it is too late." Cinderella took a deep breath. Her heart was beating fast, but she looked at her friends and nodded. "Then we must go right now." The Midnight Fairy spread her wings, and together they flew into the dark forest. The path was lit by glowing mushrooms that cast a soft light on the ground. The trees whispered as if they were alive, and shadows moved quietly between them. Cinderella held the squirrel close while the owl flew ahead to guide the way. Finally, they reached the shadow tower. It was tall and black, covered with thick, thorny vines. The tower seemed alive, groaning in the wind. At the very top, they could see a faint glow, the stolen midnight clock. But guarding it was a tall figure, wrapped in a dark cloak. His eyes burned red like fire. "Go back," he growled, his voice echoing across the forest. "If you step closer, the clock will never strike again." Cinderella felt afraid, but she took one step forward. "We cannot let time stop," she said bravely. "The kingdom needs the light of tomorrow." The Midnight Fairy raised her wand high, and a swirl of silver starlight shot out toward the shadow. The figure hissed and threw back waves of black smoke, filling the air with darkness. Cinderella closed her eyes tightly. She thought of the kingdom, the people, and her friends who believed in her. Then she lifted her glass slipper and held it high above her head. A bright beam of light burst from the slipper. It joined with the fairy's starlight, and together their magic grew stronger and stronger. The shadow screamed as the light pushed against him. With one final flash, the darkness shattered like broken glass. The shadow figure cried out and vanished into the night. Slowly, the midnight clock floated down from the tower. Its glow was warm and bright, filling the forest with golden light. And then, dong! The clock struck 12. The stars sparkled brighter than ever. The vines around the tower melted away, and the whole forest lit up in joy. The animals clapped and cheered. The owl bowed deeply before Cinderella. "You have saved time itself," he said with respect. The Midnight Fairy smiled softly. "Remember this night, Cinderella. True courage comes from hope. Kindness and bravery together can defeat even the darkest shadows." Cinderella placed the clock gently on a golden stand, her hands steady now. She looked around at her friends and smiled. "Every midnight has its magic," she whispered. "And this was one I will never forget." Wow, kids! Cinderella and the Midnight Fairy saved the kingdom from endless night. What was your favorite part? Was it the glowing fairy, the spooky shadow tower, or the magical clock? Tell us in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more magical stories. See you in the next adventure.